Okay, we are live now and ready to start at 6 p.m.
Okay, thank you. No, that wasn't Mr. Scott, was it? No.
Well, that's Albert, the tech guy.
I'm sorry, who was this again, please?
This is the computer guy for the school, Albert.
Oh, Albert, hello, okay. Good evening, Albert.
Good evening. Good evening.
No. Good evening, everyone.
Oh, that's Mr. Scott.
That had the tone of approval.
So I just spotted Mr. Long,
Okay,
and I'm getting him back to the actual WebEx. He joined the executive session first, so I'll hop on there. I'll tell him to go to the WebEx.
okay.
Long time.
Oh, no, a fly. Okay.
Hello, Mr. Long.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, good evening. Good evening, Mr. Long. How are you?
How's everybody doing? I'm good. I'm good.
Good evening,
Good.
Mr. Long.
How are we doing?
All right.
Thank you for letting me fill in this evening.
Always a pleasure, Mr. Long. Yes, I think we have everyone with the exception of Mr. Blake. Mr. Blake there.
Yes, I'm here present.
Okay, so looks like you have everyone. I don't see Miss Martin, Dr. Poteet.
She's on.
I'm here.
Okay. So I saw her initials on my screen. There she is. Okay. All right. Okay, so we have 6 minutes and counting.
That's what I have.
Okay.
5 minutes now.
Just so that you know, board members, if you see me looking around and trying to swat something, a fly has decided to join me tonight. Is everyone hearing what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Do we know what it is?
A reminder to everyone, if you are currently not speaking on the microphone, just make sure that you mute your microphones just
Right.
to eliminate any background.
Okay, board members, 1 minute and counting. Lights, camera, action. Good evening and welcome to the Winslow Township Board of Education's regular board meeting. Today is Wednesday, June 24th, 2020. Public notice of this meeting was given to all board members and associates in a notice dated January 3rd, 2020 and June 18th, 2020. It was advertised in the Courier Post, posted in all schools, the administration office, the municipal building, the library, Badubel Center, Edgewood Acres, Elmtown, and the Winslow Township post offices. And just as a point of information for the public, we are opening here at 6 o'clock. We will very shortly go into our executive session for about an hour, but we will return at approximately 7 p.m. So stay with us, please. Our mission statement. The mission of the Winslow Township School District, a large, diverse, and growing community, is to educate all students to become independent, lifelong learners, critical thinkers, and caring and confident members of their community. The district, in partnership with the community and in a climate of cooperation and mutual respect, will provide an academic environment which values excellence and diversity, encourages students to strive for personal excellence, and assists them in acquiring the knowledge, skills, and attitudes necessary to continue positively to a rapidly changing world. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
present.
Ms. Dredden,
Here.
Ms. Martin,
Present.
Ms. McClendon,
Present.
Ms. Mitchell,
Present.
Mr. Shaw,
Present.
Ms. Peterson,
Present.
and Ms. Pitts.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. May we simply recite the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag.
of the United States of America, to the republic
Republic. For
for
which
which
it
it
stands.
stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, Ms. Mitchell, would you please read our 2019-2020 district goals?
Yes, Madam President. 2019-2020 district goals. Number 1, student achievement. Continue implementation of the academic plan to address A, articulation at all grade levels throughout the district. B, focus on classroom instruction at all grade levels. C, increase student proficiency rates throughout the district. D, evaluation and upgrading all district programs. E, accountability of all district staff. Number 2, continue to foster a positive school environment that is conducive to teaching and learning. A, focus on building relationships among staff that will result in increased learning and more effective instruction. B, promote creative instruction, training, and retraining. C, emphasis on collaboration with all district stakeholders. D, promote cultural competence throughout the district. 1, teacher to student relationship. 2, student to student relationships. Number 3, market our strengths and achievements to all stakeholders to increase capacity for greater parent, caregiver, community support. A, continue with our public relations and marketing plan. B, continue to work with the various advisory committees in the district. C, examine communication methods utilized by the district.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. Board members, and at this time, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn into executive session.
We'll be discussing matters of personnel.
We will be, right. Is there a motion? Adjourn into executive session?
Motion.
Second. Blake, second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Yes. May I ask who made the motion?
Rita Martin.
Thank you. The motion has carried.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Boyle. And again, to the those who have joined us in the public, we will return as soon as we have concluded the business of our executive session. Thank you.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, this is Lavanya. I'm on my phone because I'm still having trouble, so.
Yeah, because I can't get on also. So Lavanya, I'm going back in to get the phone number. You have the phone number?
Oh, wait, so are you still in the public meeting?
No, I can hear you because I'm trying to get, but you can't see anyone. It says double.
Ladies, this is Albert, the tech guy. It seems like you joined the main meeting. You have to join the executive call-in.
I'm in the wrong meeting. Okay.
And make sure you exit out of the WebEx for now.
I did.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I did too.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
you called into the wrong number.
Okay, so I need to leave this meeting. I'm not
Yes.
seeing the other meeting though. That's what the problem is. So I keep coming back to this one.
All right. Give me 1 second and I'll see if I can add you on. Okay.
Okay, hello, Ms. Dredd, good. Hello? Has Dr. Poteet joined us yet?
Mrs. Spitz?
Dr. Poteet, you call the number into the WebEx. We need you to call the number into the other platform.
Okay, I'm sorry. So what's that number then?
All right. Hold on. Dr. Poteet, did you get it?
Did you send?
Yes. You can leave this current WebEx meeting right now. You can leave this meeting. And I'll send you that information, okay?
Okay, is Albert the tech person still here? Is our tech person here?
I mean, I have the password, but I don't have the number. I don't know. I'm screwed up. Do I have to leave this? Are we
Yes.
still logging on the computer?
No, you're calling in. You're calling in. So you can leave this current meeting that you're in right now.
I understand. I called the, I dialed 856-028
Okay.
687517, and it said that this meeting don't need.
Okay, because everyone else is on there right now.
Unbelievable. Always something.
So hold on for 1 second, okay?
Board members, try not to say the phone number. You're live still.
Hello? I think I'm in a wrong meeting.
Hello, Dr. Botif and Larry Blake. You guys are still in the meeting. You could press when you look on the screen, there should be like a red X circle that you exit the WebEx. And then on the email that you guys got, if you scroll to the bottom of the email, there should be another number that says executive, like an executive number to call.
Okay, it's underneath the same email, right?
Yes, correct.
All
But
right,
it's,
I'm gonna try that one.
but please make sure you get, because we're live. So like if you stay on this meeting, everybody will hear what you're saying.
Got it. Okay.
All right.
This looks totally different. This access meeting, accession meeting, Hello, Mrs. Pitts, I'm here.
Okay, is that you, Lorraine?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I think I see Dr. Poteet, I see Julie, see Mr. Shaw, Dr. Carcamo, Mr. Davis, Mr. Long, and Ms. McClendon. That's who I think I see.
Anya Mitchell here.
Okay, now I see Lavanya. Yes, okay.
Hello, Rita.
All right. Okay, Miss Martin, very good. So actually, we're just, I think we're waiting for Mr. Blake. I don't see Mr. Blake, but I'm sure he'll be coming along shortly. Ms. Dredden, is that your hand?
Yes, it is. Trying to focus my,
Oh, your camera?
yes,
Yeah.
that's what I was trying to do.
Oh,
See if I can put it in a position.
yeah.
Instead of holding,
Yeah.
I just got to hold it.
Okay, we have what, up to 4 minutes and counting. Okay, board members, 1 minute and counting.
Mr. Pitts, when we start, we just need a motion to come out of executive session, just for
Right.
now on the record.
Right, have it right here in front of me.
Perfect.
Okay, board members, it's now 7 p.m. and we're back on. Thank you to the public for your patience. Board members, at this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve adjournment of the executive session.
Motion to adjourn executive session.
Is that Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Second, Blake.
It's been moved and moved and second that we adjourn our executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for that voice vote. At this time, we're moving down on page 3 awards and presentations. I believe, Dr. Poteet, there's no awards or presentations at this time.
No, Madam President, we do not have any presentations.
Thank you. Correspondence?
We have none this evening, Madam President.
Thank you. At this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve the minutes of the Board of Education's regular meeting held on June 10th, 2020, open session. Is there a motion?
Motion, Martin.
Second.
Been moved in second. Would there be any further questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin, Ms. McClendon, Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Ms. Pitts?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Great. Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Moving down to our board committee reports. I'm going to just pause for a minute. Is the technician person there? Because I'm getting a terrible echo. Technician?
Yes, we're here. We're asking everyone to please mute their microphones if they're not currently speaking.
Okay, that's much better. Can you hear me? Excuse me. I see McClendon, Ms. McClendon gave me the thumbs up. You can hear me?
Yes. We can hear you.
Okay, fine. Fine. I'm asking at this time for board committee reports. Would there be a board report out of the Education Committee?
No report, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. A board report out of the Operations Committee?
No, not at this time, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Dredden. A board report out of the Marketing Committee?
Yes, Madam President.
Mr. Shaw?
Monday, June 22nd at 6 p.m., the Marketing Committee met. Myself, Dr. Poteet, and Mr. Blake all met via WebEx. We discussed some of the things that Mr. Fortune and Dr. Poteet and the Marketing Committee had done in the past, like the chat and chew and the stuff that was going on with the Heart and Soul that we were going to try keep when school reopens, that we're going to try to keep going on with. We also discussed once the committees and everything are formed and we have Dr. Poteet and the district have a better plan with reopening of schools, of possibly in August, of holding a virtual town hall. And then also, once we get everything settled down and schools back in session, try to establish one community member or HSA member to the marketing committee. So that way we have representation to help us with marketing our schools and our district in a more efficient manner. So that way we have a more positive look to our schools. That way people can see our schools for what they are in a more positive manner. And our meeting ended at 6:51 on Monday. And I look forward to having more our monthly meetings, probably around the second meeting of every month.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shaw. Any questions or comments for Mr. Shaw? All right, thank you. Moving on now. The policy committee will be meeting Dr. Carcamo. Dr. Carcamo?
Ms. Pitts.
Yes. Dr.
Yeah.
Carcamo, I'm looking at a meeting for the time for our next policy committee meeting. I'm looking at next Thursday, July 2nd. Is that doable?
I can do July 2nd.
And is the 4 o'clock time still convenient?
4 o'clock is convenient, but I'm really flexible that day if you want to do it early.
Okay, good. Board members who are on the committee, I'm talking now to Ms. McClendon, Ms. Martin, and Ms. Dredden. Can I get get some feedback with regards to that date and time?
Date and time for Ms. Martin is fine.
Okay.
Yes, it's fine for me also.
Okay, Ms. Dredden.
Yes, Madam President, that's fine for me as well on July 2nd.
July 2nd at 4 p.m. or earlier?
4 p.m. works for me.
Okay, fine. So Dr. Carcamo?
Yes, Mrs. Pitts.
All right, it appears that our next policy committee meeting will be Thursday, July 2nd at 4 p.m.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Carcamo. Thank you, board members. Moving now to the Citizen Advisory Committee, would there be a report out of the Citizens Advisory Committee?
No report, Madam
Okay.
President.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. At this time, board members, we're entering into our public comment portion of our agenda. The Winslow Township Board of Education highly values the input of citizens in making important decisions that affect the children of our community. We also believe in the rights of citizens to observe our board meetings, to ensure that all citizens have the opportunity to attend school board meetings and offer comment, and to ensure that the board can conduct the important business of the district. We ask that speakers follow these guidelines for making public comments. The board president or board secretary will recognize those individuals in the audience who wish to make comment. Please respect the following procedures. Number one, all members of the public attending school board meetings must treat each other and the board with respect. Number two, please state your full name and address. Number three, please limit your comments to 4 minutes. Number four, please submit your questions to the Board of Education with your name, address, and telephone number where you can be contacted. Your questions will be answered within a reasonable amount of time. And last, individuals offering citizen comment are not permitted to make personal attacks on any district employee, board member, other testifier, or member of the public. So therefore, board members, at this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve our moving into our public comment portion.
Motion to move to public comment. Martin.
Blake, second.
It's been moved and second. We move into our public comment portion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for that voice vote.
Okay.
Boyle?
We have one. Yes, Madam President, we have one coming in.
Okay.
Good evening. You have joined the public comment section of the board meeting. If you would please state your name and address and then give your public comment.
Good evening. My name is Susan Panamano, and my address is 423 South Egg Harbor Road, Blue Anchor. My children have attended Winslow schools for 11 years and 6 years now. And I had a couple questions and a comment, and I will send this out because I do have several questions, and I know all of them might not be able to be answered tonight here. So my first comment is about Mrs. Maria Clark. I have to say I was really surprised that the board didn't have any comment when that was an agenda item. Ms. Clark was the only one on that list of teachers that was moved more than one grade around. She has been, like she said, a teacher there for 19 years and did a wonderful job. She always led events there. She always helped out with the HSA, which I was a member of and as president of for 3 years. And I got to see her, you know, in action at the school quite often, and she did teach my son. So I do have a lot of experience with her, and it's really disheartening, and I think it sends a bad message to the teachers in this district that, you know, if you speak up for anything you believe in, this could happen to you. Wanted to make that initial comment, and I know you can't comment on anything personnel-wise, so that's fine, but I wanted it to be made known that there are people in this district that, you know, have this experience with her and feel that this was not right. My first question is, were the schools provided guidance or direction for promotional ceremonies for the 6th, 8th, and 12th graders? If so, what date? Because the governor announced that schools would remain closed as of May 4th, so there was plenty of time to make preparations and have them equal for all the schools. If there is a lack of internet access, and that was a problem across the district, are all schools handling it the same way and handing out packets, or just the elementary schools? Did the superintendent, board members, or school administrators seek information from other districts on how they were administering remote learning, since Winslow never got to our planning days in mid-March when most other districts had planned weeks earlier?
That's not true.
The superintendent, BOE, planning to elicit information from other districts on what worked and didn't work for them to prepare for fall should there be another lockdown? And finally, when will planning begin for fall remote learning should that happen? Will parents play a role in forming that plan? Thank you.
Pitts, there's several questions asked. I can't remember all of them. Try to answer the ones I do remember. Let me first address one issue, and that is superintendents, things that they the best interest of the school district, and quite all don't necessarily have to ask another superintendent what he's doing in order to replicate that in Winslow. And very few superintendents call me and ask, what am I doing in Winslow? They can replicate their school. However, we do communicate often. So what works for us isn't necessarily work for others. And to equip Winslow with the other school districts, just a matter of individual personal opinion. At this point, as I'm concerned, I will do what I believe is in the interest of our children, the community here in Winslow. The other question referenced, I think it had something to do with us starting or whatever, something to that effect. I don't think about that as I'm concerned to the New Jersey Department of Education Township District. Part of this learning and address those issues as far as closure at the same time which Governor gave the approval closure, and we went through the process in order for that to happen. So as far as I'm concerned, we things we have to do in order to receive the approval for us and to receive the credit for 180 days is required by law. As far as parents, as far as end of year moving ceremony, we had planned that those ceremonies only for the middle school and the high school. We did not plan to have moving ceremony for elementary and upper elementary grades. So we moved forward with the ones that we planned for. As far as parents having in the remote learning for September, we will have our committee course set, and if those kinds of concerns as to what worked, what we need to improve upon, I think we're able to address those questions we prepare for the reading through committees that we set up. I answered most of the questions. I can't recall the others.
Madam President, this is Lavanya Mitchell. Can I make a comment? Is it okay, Madam President? Okay. I heard the caller say that other districts had a lot of time to plan for the school closure, and that is inaccurate. I do work for a school district in South Jersey, and we all got the same amount of time. When the governor made the announcement, that is when we started to move. And in fact, my district had 1 day, well, 2 days I think we had, and the next day we were out of school. So there was no time to plan because no one knew what was coming down the pike. And although I'm in South Jersey, I do have colleagues in other parts of the state. We all received the information at the same time. So no one had any advance notice as to planning for cyber learning, remote learning, or anything else due to COVID-19.
And Ms. Mitchell, I would like to piggyback that. Prior to us closing down here in Winslow, we had a week to in anticipation that may come. That's why we were able to have the majority of the students in our school district. As you can recall, 2 meetings ago, someone asked to serve them, and I stated at that time that we had already conducted a survey, and that survey was conducted a week before we got approval from the governor to close down schools, because I'm sure it would come. We were able to hear some of those things so we could be prepared. No school district was able to close before others, because as I mentioned, we all received that information at the same time. I don't know that the public is aware, even though we were given the opportunity to close, it was a process that had to follow, and each school district had to go through that process, which was the responsibility of the superintendent, and that is to put a plan to get approval, where we write a letter to county department for their approval, submit that in writing. They responded, and we had to put that letter to the county office as well as a plan in order for us to move forward. So as far as I am concerned, the Winslow Township School District was right on with all the school districts, and we met requirement for closure and did felt that in order to provide our children with the best possible education during closure. We have learned some things in the process, some things that we can improve upon, some things that we could possibly delete, some we probably add. I think put myself in the same position as all my colleagues across the state, able to say the same thing. I don't think there was one district out there that their process was perfect without flaws. We continue as we speak in Canton and across the state, and all have the same terms. So do a comparative analysis with all the other schools in the state of New Jersey. Is, in my opinion, one of each individual's. That's what you find, but I want to assure the school board and the members of the community who are listening, we were on target and the deadline prior to closing and process. So I have no concerns at this point, member, that we fell short in any way possible, other than things we learned as we went along, like all the other school districts.
Dr. Poteet.
And
Wait, Ms. Peterson, just real quick, Dr. Poteet, this is Mr. Blake. The community is saying that they can't hear you. There's some feedback or you're breaking up. I'm getting texts that people can't hear you.
Okay, now, Mr.
Same thing.
I can hear you.
Okay, but I'm not sure how I can correct that at this point. I'm sitting here at my computer and I'm not sure how to correct Blake.
Okay.
I am so I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Madam President, may I speak? This is Ms. Peterson. Madam President, may I speak?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
I just wanted to, I work for a higher education institute. We all received the Executive Order 104 for implementation on March the 18th that actually closed preschools, elementary, secondary, and institutions of higher learning in New Jersey to mitigate the spread of COVID-19. And that was short notice at everyone in the state, if you were in the educational field, knew and felt the urgency that our governor expressed. So yes, there was a form that we all had to complete, and there's different phases that we all have to work through in order to go back. I think that you can tell by the leveling of the number of COVID-19 positive responses that are coming out now that we have done a great job in the state of New Jersey. But I want to let you know, if you go to the Executive Order 104, you will see that it was implemented on March the 18th, and we had to close then.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Board members, any other comments to the resident? All right, thank you. Ms. Boyle, would there be another person who would like to make public comment?
Yes, Madam President, we have another person in the queue. We'll have that call sent in.
Thank you.
Good evening. You've joined the Winslow Township Board of Education during the public comment section. Please state your name and your address, and then you're free to make your public comment.
Sure, thank you very much. My name is Teron Person, 113 Ballard Drive, Summers Point, New Jersey. I am the Strategic Sales Manager for Kelly Education. Madam President, Madam Vice President, Dr. Poteet, Ms. McCoy Boyle, Mr. Long, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity. I was calling in just to see if President Pitts and Madam President and Dr. Poteet, if you received our communication that was sent earlier today.
Mr. Peterson, is it? Is this Mr. Peterson?
Say that again?
Am I speaking with Mr. Peterson? Mr. Jerron?
My name is Karan Person. I'm calling from Kelly Education.
Right. Okay. I'm sorry.
For
All right.
staffing provider.
Right.
We also submitted a bid for your paraprofessional business, and I was writing to see or calling in to see if either Madam President or Dr. Poteet had received our correspondence today.
Yes, Mr. Person. Miss Nikolai, I think Sorcy or Soresi did send an email.
Yes, from Nicola Suarez, correct.
Right, exactly. I did receive the email, and I absolutely will be responding to her email.
Okay, and is the board going to make a decision tonight? Because we did have a couple questions. You know, as a taxpayer, but also as an education advocate, the value that we could save to the district is great, given the $321,000 that is being cut. And we have not received any correspondence or any feedback as to, it looks like we were disqualified as to why we were disqualified.
Ms. Pitts, I could jump in here if you need me to answer that question. It's really a legal technicality is what.
Is this Mr. Long?
This is Mr. Long, yes, Ms. Pitts.
Okay, let me just say this, ladies and gentlemen, as you speak, please say your name, because with regards to some of the volume and the technology is not that clear. I'm not able to get exactly identify who's speaking. So when you speak, please just simply say who you are.
I apologize for that, Ms. Pitts. This is
That's
Mr.
fine.
Long.
Sure, Mr. Long.
So this call, I'm assuming it's about the bid 2020-15 for the classroom assistance, educational student one-on-one aids. So there were two bids received, one by Kelly Services and one by ESS Support. Unfortunately, the bid by Kelly did not contain a bid bond. It actually contained a letter in the response itself saying that were not going to provide a bid bond. The bid specifications were very clear that a bid bond was required. So by law, when the bid specifications do require that, it's a mandatory item that we cannot waive. So certain items within a bid, we can waive in certain situations. A bid bond in this situation was clearly marked and required by the specifications. We are unable to waive that by law. So the issue would be if we would award it to Kelly, we put ourselves in a very precarious position where ESS would have a very valid lawsuit on their hands and move forward against us in that perspective. So while Kelly Services might have had the lower response on paper, their bid was non-responsive as they did not submit a bid bond. And there's really not a whole lot we can do in that situation.
And the way that I read and the way that we read, one of the requirements is that the word was used may result in disqualification.
If you want to have a legal debate, I'm more than happy to do that. We can talk offline. It's really not a matter to be going back and forth in a public forum about. That's my legal opinion on it.
Understood. Well, thank you very much for your time, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Long,
Yes, Ms. Boyle.
the language in the bid spec said shall be called.
Yeah.
Yes, not may.
Right. There's certain items that do say may, but the bid guarantee is not one of those.
And Mr. Long, if I'm understanding correctly, in the legal terms, there is a big difference between wording that says may and wording that says shall.
Yep. Yes, Ms. Pitts, that's correct. It pretty much makes the entire difference.
Yes, it does.
When it shall, there's literally nothing we can do.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Long. Ms. Boyle, do we have another person ready?
Yes, Madam President, there's another person in the queue. Good evening. You've joined the Winslow Township Board of Education public comment section of the board meeting. If you would please state your name and address, and then you can proceed with your public comment.
Good evening. My name is Abigail Murphy. I live at 4 Devonshire Court, Sticklerville. I'm calling because I know that the governor is in the process this week to release his recommendations for reopening in September. However, my question is, I know that because we had talked about at the last board meeting that we're waiting and we're planning for September, but there's only 10 weeks before a reentry in September. And as a working parent, having to make plans, I think if we can get, the parents could get some information about what the plans are so that we can start planning for how, you know, childcare, if we need childcare, or other needs that the parents may have to accommodate specialized schedules.
Yes, Mrs. Pitts, may I address that?
Yes, Dr. Poteet.
Okay, and I want to make sure I'm heard because the call made a great point, and that is we'll to hear from the governor as to what it is we can and do. Superintendent, I am who can't wait because we need to have that direction as soon as possible. We were anticipating that the governor would provide information on Friday. They changed to midweek. We were anticipating today. Came out today. Hopefully tomorrow. How just like the call later, they're not sure whether or not child care will do. That's the same thing or the same I find myself in. Moving forward and set up committee, talk about we have no idea as to whether it's going to come into fruition and sit around and talk about what is, and then find ourselves in the situation we've wasted time. I agree with the caller. I will be very, very when the governor provides us with that information, at least some latitudes as to what we can and cannot do. However, information at the appropriate time, I am prepared to go forward with a recommendation for committees. But again, until we have something to talk about, not sure how we're going to move. So yes, call, agree, and as soon as we get information from the governor to a foundation or form that we can begin to plan, then we can move forward. So I'm hoping that tomorrow the governor will provide us some information so that we move forward.
Thank you, Dr. Poteet.
Caller, were you able to hear?
I heard him, yeah.
Okay, you're welcome. Do you have any other comments?
No, I'm good. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Do we have any others?
Are there any others, Ms. Boyle?
Madam President, doesn't appear to be any others in the queue.
Okay, thank you. So therefore we can proceed, board members, at this time. I'm asking for a motion to approve adjournment of our public comment portion. Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn public comments. Martin.
Blake.
It's been moved and second to adjourn our public comment portion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, members, for that voice vote. At this time, board members, we're moving on with our agenda. I am at the top of page 5, and I'm asking for a motion to approve the superintendent's report that begins at the top of page 5 and continues to the bottom of page 6. Is there a motion?
Madam President?
Yes.
There is one item, number 6, under section A.
Number 6?
Yes. So exhibit 14A6 was sent home. All right, and it's revised. There's just the change of a name of a school. So it's very minor, but I wanted to make sure the board was aware.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Boyle. Ms. Martin and Mr. Blake, does that change your motion at all?
No.
Thank you. Again, at this point, I'm asking for of the superintendent's report.
Motion to approve the superintendent's report.
Blake, second.
Thank you. It's been moved and second to approve the superintendent's report. No further questions or comments. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Dredden?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
McClendon?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson? And Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Boyle. Board members, excuse me, I am now at the top of page 7. Motion to approve the Administrative Board Secretary's report. And that, excuse me, I'm so sorry, that begins top of page 7 and continues through the middle of page 13. Is there a motion? Is there a motion?
Sorry, motion Martin.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we approve the Business Administrative Board Secretary's report. Would there be further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Dredden?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. McClendon?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Shaw? Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms. Pitt?
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Boyle. Board members are moving now. I'm on page 13. I am the personnel report. Before we go into that and ask for the motion on that, initially I'm going to ask for a motion, excuse me, to untable the resolution that we tabled at our May 13th meeting with regards to withholding of staff salary. Is there a motion to untable that? Is there a motion to untable that?
There's a motion to untable that.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Martin and second by Mr. Blake that we untable the resolution that appeared on the May 13th agenda as it relates to withholding staff salary. Further comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Dredden?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. McClendon?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson? And Ms. Pitt?
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you. And to what is attached to that motion, I'm going to now read the entire motion. At this point, I'm asking for a motion to approve the resolution to withhold staff salary increments for the year 2020-2021 as it appeared on our board's agenda at our May 13th, 2020 meeting. It appeared under the personnel section, page 10, item 6. Is there a motion?
Martin?
It's been moved and second. Further questions or comments on this motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Dredden?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. McClendon?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw? Ms. Peterson? Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you. Moving to the rest of our personnel report. Therefore, I'm asking for a motion to approve the rest of our
Mhm.
Did we lose Madam President?
Yes, it appears as Madam President was dropped out of the meeting. We want to give her a moment to get back in.
The power went out? I know.
Can you see what happened?
She's here, but she's showing up. She's
Mr. Scott, does that appear to be an issue on Mrs. Pitt's end?
Yes, it does, Dr. Poteet. She lost connection. A message came up referencing low bandwidth. She lost connectivity, so we'll give her a minute to try to rejoin.
No, she's not back in.
Can you hear me now? Hello? Board members, can you hear me?
Yes.
You're back.
I'm sorry, I have no idea of what happened.
Welcome back, Ms. Pitts.
All of a sudden, believe me, it was not me. It was not me. All of a sudden, it went out on me. I'm sorry. So we did do that motion with regards to approving the personnel report?
No,
We did not?
no, you have to repeat the motion.
Board members, I'm asking for a motion to approve the remainder of the personnel report. It begins on page 13 and continues through to the middle of page 16. Your motion.
There is a motion, Martin.
Blake,
Second, moved by Ms. Martin, second by Mr. Blake. Further questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
yes.
Redden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Miss Mitchell was kicked out for a minute, along with myself.
And so was John Shaw.
Yeah, I believe he said the power just went out in his development.
Yes.
Wyndham Hill, that's it.
Restart, but my power's out now.
Okay, are you back with us, Mr. Shaw?
Yes, I had to
Okay.
restart everything. Power's
Okay.
completely out. I have no Wi-Fi, anything.
Okay, I for whatever reason, I kind of got it blacked out, whatever happened.
so you want to vote quickly, Mr. Shaw?
Whatsoever.
Mr. Shaw?
The personnel section.
Mr. Shaw, do we have your vote on the personnel?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Did you get that, Ms. McCoy? Ms. Boyle, did you, okay.
Both of us got it.
Okay, thank you. Moving,
Has Ms. Mitchell joined back?
Ms. Mitchell? She may have been knocked out also.
Okay,
She
Ms.
was.
Pe- Ms. Peterson
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes,
Ms. Pitts?
yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. How would you
Okay.
like to vote on the personnel section?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so we have 7 of 8.
Okay.
I assume Ms. Mitchell left the meeting shortly, so I'll just,
All right, so hopefully she'll be able to join back in.
yes.
Because at this point, board members, we're moving to the addendum. The board members, we're on the addendum. I'm asking at this time for a motion to approve business administrator board secretary's report as it appears on our addendum. And it begins on page 1 and continues through to the bottom of page 7. Is there a motion?
Motion, to approve the Business Administrator Board Secretary report.
It appears on the addendum.
Blake, second.
Thank you. It's been moved and second that we approve the Business Administrator Board Secretary's report as it appears on the addendum. Would there be further questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell, Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you. Board members, we're back on the agenda. Would there be, Ms. Boyle, an Open Public Records Act request?
None completed during this period, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Boyle. Moving now, board members, to old business. Will there be any old business you would care to discuss at this time? Board members, I just have one item, and it has to do with our retreat. I need to know a consensus. I need to know and whether or not the date of July 11th, Saturday, July 11th, is a date that works for our board to establish our board retreat. I have been in contact with Ms. Terry Lewis, our NJSBA field rep, and she is agreeable. She can join us to conduct that retreat on July 11th by virtual platform. So, board members, July 11th, Saturday, July 11th.
Is there a time?
There had been a request from other board members to have the retreat go from 12 noon through to about 4. That is a span. We may not use that whole time, but in light of what the climate is and what our conditions are now, we very well may use that time. So right now I'm saying from 12 noon to 4. Board members, I need to hear from you.
Madam President.
Fine for me. I'm sorry.
Ms. McClendon?
Madam President, that is okay with me.
Thank you, Ms. McClendon. Mr. Blake?
That works.
Okay, Mr. Blake. Mr. Shaw?
That's fine by me.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Ms. Peterson?
Yes, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Martin?
That works.
Thank you. Ms. Dredden?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The only one that I will talk to her, that would be Ms. Mitchell. So board members, mark your calendars. Mark your calendars for Saturday, July 11th, beginning at noon, going through to 4 p.m. That will be our annual retreat. And Ms. Terry Lewis will be with us to conduct that retreat. Thank you very much. That's my old business. Board members, any other old business at this time? Thank you. Hearing none. Moving now to new business. Board members, would there be any new business that you would care to discuss at this time?
Madam President, this is Ms. McClendon. There's some business I would like to bring to the table.
Yes.
Given all of the, I guess, the concerns regarding the reopening of schools, whether or not if school is going to be reopened or if we're going to continue with remote learning. I know that we as a board agreed to the parent survey to, one, help us prepare for whichever scenario is going to take place, but that will be also with remote learning. One of the things I also thought about, there's another piece of the puzzle that we need to consider, and that is maybe a survey for our teachers. And the reason why I'm saying this is because we need to know over the last 3 months what it has been like for our teachers. What are the pros and cons with the remote learning, virtual instruction? What were some of the issues that arose for them? Whether or not if it allowed them to be productive for our students, whether or not issues that they face. And these are things that we need to know as well as we do the planning moving forward for September, so that we have each piece of the puzzle to know how to address. I personally don't want to go into September trying to tweak things. We've heard a lot of concerns from parents for the lower elementary schools. regarding virtual instruction. But we also need to talk to or hear from the teachers as far as what their struggles were. Were there things that they felt as though they could not provide to our students to be effective? So I am asking the board that we look at creating or having a teacher survey as well implemented. Now, as far as how to funnel it, I wasn't sure, but I did think about maybe, of course, administration and possibly working with our teachers union rep, Mr. Nevitt, if possible, and maybe a board member or two to work on that together, because I definitely think that getting the input from our teachers is definitely a big piece of the puzzle because they're the front line. And if they couldn't effectively produce to our students, then that'll be a problem if we don't address any concerns that may have faced over these 3 months. So I am recommending that the board that we consider doing a teacher survey, and if we could put a motion on the table this evening to at least move forward with providing or implementing some type of teacher survey.
Mrs. Pitts,
Yes, Dr. Carcamo?
if I may respond to that, just so that the board knows that that is just one of my responsibilities. And that's something that we have already done, is to put together a survey for our teacher. Actually, we're working on the second survey. So we already have that taken care of.
Mrs., I just wanted to just reiterate that what Ms. London stated, but I just want you to know that that is, as Carcamo mentioned, an administrative function. That's what, and in order for us to be able to improve our services, include our teachers to find what work. Yes, that is something that has already been done, as Dr. Carcamo mentioned, something that we're doing the second wave of. So yeah, Mrs. McClendon, we are doing the things because it's an administrative function for us to be, we have no teacher done successfully and what they feel that needs to be improved upon. And also part of the goals that you read every week where we continue to evaluate and update district programs. And that would be part of that. Yes. Something that we do on a regular basis, or excuse me, on an annual basis. So yes, surveying the teachers and getting their input is something we are doing as we speak.
Okay, great. No, there was no pun intended. I was not trying to step on Dr. Carcamo or Dr. Poteet's toes. It was something that came to mind for me and mentioned when we talked about the parent survey. I thought I would put it out there on the table, but to hear that you are working on a survey to the teachers so that a plan can be effectively put together, then I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, Dr. Poteet.
Sure. And Mrs. McClendon, your recommendation was on point and no one's toes were stepped on. I just want you to know that. No one's toes stepped on, but I just want you and to know that, that's something we're supposed to be doing anyway, and I don't want anyone to think not doing when it comes to those kinds of things. That's all I just say. A lot of times when recommendations are made, if the question is asked, Dr. have you guys thought about this? Well, I could have said to you, yes, we have about it, or providing and that information we speak. So there was no toes being on. I agree with your recommendation wholeheartedly.
Great, thank you.
Dr. Poteet, this is Mr. Blake. I'm just curious to know, as far as you gave the survey out, what was the glaring thing that people loved, and what was like the thing that they did not like? Like just like one or two things that you can share about the survey.
Well, at this point, yeah, I agree with you with Dr. Carcamo. A idea is gather that information. I can speak to what I do, but Dr. Carcamo, would you respond first?
Sure. What I want to say is that we have developed a survey. Actually, we're working on the second survey. So we don't have anything to report out, Mr. Blake, at this time. So when we get all of the information, and we're happy to share the results with you.
Just curious to know. I just wanted to know, what was like the big thing they loved,
we
the
don't
things
have.
that they didn't love.
Mrs. Pitts, when you do the information, I think I'll be able to answer some of the questions that have been posed from the board. So we get there, I can sort of continue forward.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Poteet.
One more question, Madam President. Dr. Poteet or Dr. Carcamo, do you have an ETA as to when the survey is going to be sent out to the teachers?
I don't. I need to check with the technology department, and I can do that tomorrow, and then I can let you know when we plan to release it.
Very well, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, board members?
No, just a comment, Madam President.
Yes, Ms. Peterson.
I have a question too.
Okay, Ms. Peterson, then Mr. Shaw, okay?
Yes, okay, thank you.
Madam President, I just want to announce, because of the pandemic, I was concerned about the number of scholarships our students were receiving or actually notified the district that they were in receipt of. And I'm pleased to announce with only, and I'm saying only 20 students reporting, they reported $1.8 million. So I'm very proud of the students of Winslow Township. What an excellent job. Kudos to them.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. That is really, that's good news. That's encouraging. Mr. Shaw?
This question, I guess, is for Ms. Martin. Has the survey that the CAC worked on, has that gone out yet?
No, it has not gone out yet. We're still working on it, Mr. Shaw.
Okay.
I will make the board aware of when the survey does go out.
Okay. Board members, we're still in new business. Any other new business, board members, before I close this out?
Madam President, I have one more thing. I'm sorry. I have received a message regarding on our Board of Education website, the area that has the CAC information. It has been requested, I believe before, that we update that information with the, I guess, the CAC's, I don't want to say their duties, but also the information regarding the members of the CAC. So it was mentioned that it has not been updated yet, and if we could look at updating that information on our website.
Now, Ms. McClendon, I need some clarity. When you're saying update the information, are you speaking in terms of listing their names? What exactly are you speaking to when you're saying updating the information? I need to know that.
Okay, so there's a tab underneath the Board of Education for CAC. So it was requested the CAC members' names as well, the listing of their names, members of the CAC.
I need to know, are you saying that the CAC members are not listed there?
Correct.
Okay, we can adjust, we can make sure that gets addressed. I was not aware of that, because with regards to the CAC, what information are you saying is there?
Let me go back and look at the email. I know it was stated that their names aren't listed as CAC members. It's just a blank tab. So they're asking for the website to be updated with the information about the CAC as well as the members that are serving.
Now, when you say the information about the CAC, we've always posted and always given out information from the very beginning about the CAC in terms of what they are and what it is they do. But I will check into that, because that is not something that has not been posted and has not been made available. But I will certainly check into that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Madam
Yes.
President. Madam President, Ms. Dredden.
Oh, Ms. Dredden.
Yes, I would like to make a comment.
Yes, Ms. Dredden.
Yes, my comment is about the graduation for the seniors. It was beautiful. Well done. Yes, for the high school. Well
Yes.
done. The social distancing that they displayed, and you could tell the students were very happy. The pictures that they had on those big poster signs that you put in the lawns, it was very, very nice, very nicely done. It was beautiful. I just want to comment how nice it was done.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Edmond. And just to piggyback on that, I've gotten several comments from residents, specifically my neighbors who had children who did graduate their senior year. And the comments were very, very positive, and they were very, very pleased with the ceremony that was put forth for the Winslow students. So I concur. Yes, several people very, very pleased. Job well done. District administrators, job well done.
Madam President, if I can comment as well. I just want to ditto, I'm not going to repeat everything that you and Ms. Dredden said, but I would ditto that and also mention that the virtual ceremony for the high school was, for the middle school was also well done and
Yes,
acknowledged our
yes.
children in a fine way. So just wanted to put that out there. Thank you, Dr. Poteet and Dr. Carcamo, for all your work on that.
And thank you, Ms. Mitchell, for coming back to us.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yes. Okay, board members, before I leave that new business, just one other item I would just like to put out for board members in the community, and that is this, that on this Saturday, the 27th, there is going to be a mask giveaway, a free mask giveaway. Cooper Hospital has partnership with the Winslow Township, and they have offered over 1,500 masks. And so therefore, the giveaway will take place on this Saturday, June 27th, from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. The location will be the School 3 parking lot. So if anyone needs additional masks or just need more masks, as I understand, these masks will be washable. They are washable, and they're very fine masks provided to us by Cooper Hospital. Now, that's my new business. Information items at this time, board members, Dr. Poteet, information items?
Yes, Mrs. Pitt, information items. And I understand the concern about the opening of school. I don't think I'm going to be more concerned about that than because we have to be moving. If we have not received that information from the governor, we would like to move forward, at least with the establishment of the committee. So I would like to recommendation because I believe that the school board members should be a part of the committees, administrators should be part of those committees, of course, parents and others in the community. So I want to make the recommendation that we use standing committees of the board that are already in place, have administrators that have board members, includes everyone. If we use those standing committees, as I found that the committees reopening of school, and we can put out a call to parents interested, community members who are interested, in serving on a reopening school committee, they would sign, and they make it either with your direction, assign a number of people committee. We can also look at the number. I would recommend that we do not have more than 10 members of the committee because if you have these too large, then certainly get a lot of work done. So that's my recommendation. I would like to put out, Madam President, members of the board, for your action to establishing those reopening of school committees, using the existing committees of the board as the foundation for the.
Thank you, Dr. Poteet. Board members, I need to have your input. I need to know your thoughts.
Mrs. Pitts, I'm on board with all this. We have started having this conversation with Dr. Poteet the other day, so I completely agree with him.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Any other board members?
I have a question, Madam President. This is Ms. McClendon. I'm on board with that, what Dr. Poteet was saying, but I want to ask Dr. Poteet, with the different, I guess, plans, because you'll probably have to look at multiple plans, I'm sure, and the amount of things as far as, you know, the reopening of schools, social distancing, transportation. Do you see one group of 10 people enough to be able to take on those amount of responsibilities, or do you foresee you may need a separate group to work on possibly different areas of the whole project? Only because I know there's a lot of things that you have to take into consideration. So just so that you guys don't become overwhelmed with the amount of.
I understand, for example, the committees of the board already address those issues that would have to address anyway. For example, the operations committee, who already had the members who without as well as administrators, Mrs. Bull, and Mills, deal with transportation, and who else better expertise in transportation with Mrs. Bull, Mills, Mr. Gaffney. Those individuals who are the expertise can bring expertise to the people who have those involved. So, like for example, food service, we already have in place who know what service, add the food directors, transportation directors, and then you have that input. So everything we do, Operation School District, falls under one of the committees of the board. So we already have a degree of expertise, which we don't have from square one. You have education committee who will be dealing with some of the questions that were raised today about work with work. So you have people on the education committee, you have your teachers, education committee, your principals, you have your parents to the table those they felt. So every aspect we have, the marketing committee, that marketing committee could have a litany of things, particularly for those from the standpoint of our parents.
Yes.
The policy committee probably a lot of issues now deal with policy and procedure. It's going to be different. You have people who already understand the policy exists. You have people bring information to the committee, and with the input from parents, other teachers that we do on each committee, I think the ground as opposed starting from. And I'm bringing that recommendation to you is because, for the most part, one, all the board members are already in it. You administrators, which we can increase the number of administrators and the number of parents. However, keep in mind the reason that you don't want your committees too long, because if you go too, your court will be efficient, or you're going to be able to get things done. So again, we can revisit that. I'm not trying to think that it's all squared or it's all been. I'm putting it there tonight for us to begin the foundation of the implementation of the committee, and then we talk about who we want to include, who we want to. But I want to err on the side of caution because I've been working with committees for a number of years. And if you have too many people working on committees, then you limit the amount of effectiveness. You have so many people. I think the board should be careful, strategic, how many people, and also when you have people sign, look at what it is they bring to the table so that you strategically place those people in various committees based on their interests, their backgrounds, and those kind of things. So I'm making a recommendation. I think we will cover everything right now, as we already all the things we have to. But if you talk creating more committees, I think start with what we have, and if there's a need to have a spinoff of a committee based on those concerns, that would be a recommendation we can bring to the board address it. Just to get started, we don't ourselves any further time, but I think this gives us at least hold on have some idea where things need to be, and expertise people who are all sitting on the committees.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Poteet. Mr. Long, I have a question. Mr. Long?
Yes, Mr. Pitts.
Mr. Long, the recommendation that Dr. Poteet has just put forth, should we just take a consensus or do we have to take a vote?
You could just do a consensus, and it's your, as board president, you would kind of have that power to delegate those committees.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Long. I wasn't sure. I just wanted to be safe before I proceeded. So board members, you've heard Dr. Poteet's recommendation, and my message to board members would be this. To all of the committee chairs, heads up, heads up. We really have a job to do. Dr. Poteet, I think that's a great recommendation. I think it's a good foundation to build on. And I agree with you. We have committees on the board that covers all aspects of the district's operations. And so we need to just enhance the committees to include those other persons, Dr. Poteet, that you mentioned, outside of board members, outside of administrators, that would include also teachers and community people. So board members, can I get a comment with regards to Dr. Poteet's recommendation? I'm looking for a consensus, not a vote, just a consensus.
Madam President?
Yes, Ms. Peterson.
I'm in favor. I ditto your comments. My passion is academics, so I'm willingly able and enthusiastically would serve in that capacity.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson.
Madam President.
Ms. Pitts, it's this Mr. Blake. I didn't mean to cut you off. I had a question for Dr. Poteet.
Go ahead, Mr. Blake.
Dr. Poteet, when do you? I know we're in the infancy stage of the committees, but when do you plan to launch the committees? That would be my question.
Right. Well, Mr. Blake, I am hoping that the governor give us some direction tomorrow, because it's my greatest concern, and I think I with you and Mr. Monday now to sit and talk about what if and not have any direction. I think is a waste of our time, because we just sit around and talk about if, and the governor out and say for us, we're not going to open schools in Jersey until January. Then we time, and we already have a place for virtual instruction. But if he comes out and say we're going to have face and virtual, but it's up to the school just to decide how to do that, we have something to talk about. We have something to point, because now we deal with transportation. We have food service. We have to deal with the instruction. Once we do something, so the position is as soon as the governor give us some direction, committees can be formed, get the information out there, and even list tomorrow, of any parents who would like to join the committee. We don't know what at this point. Start creating a list. So I thought, and again, I wanted to set the committee already in, so that way already ahead of the game. As soon as we get some direction from the government, because like you called earlier, she's also meeting parents also, so they'll know what to do, children, child, whatever. Until we know we can not do, I don't think there's a need for us to go out there and have committees up and running, and we don't know what we're talking about. So it's get something that I'm hoping is Mr. Blake, then I think we can begin up needs to move forward for next week. We can put a list out this week. Parents could go online, however we want to decide, for they start signing now. Once we get that action, start down with existing committee and start identifying people placed on those committees, and then we can move forward. I puts us in a position that puts us way ahead of the game at this we're not waiting around. So still want to wait until we hear something from the governor. I think it's imperative.
Okay, I just want to put this in the atmosphere. Dr. Poteet, we've already had these conversations because you know my anxiety about my kids and the staff and students of Winslow going back to school. I really feel like we should be moving a little bit further along with it. Like I feel like there's 3 buckets of work that we need to look at, you know, um, remote learning, face to face, and possibly some kind of split situation. I'm just super concerned about that. I like that you're talking about committees. I like that you know, you have something in place. So I feel confident. And like I said before, I've been working with you since 2014, and I know without a fact that you will not put harm for any student or any staff member. But I just think that we need to look at those 3 buckets of work. Like I said, remote learning, um, possibly split session or face to face. Like I think we should just kind of be thinking about that before the governor's, because I don't really feel confident that the governor is going to give a lot of guidance when it comes to opening up schools. Like I feel like he's just going to say you could open up schools and it's up to the district. And then, you know, we're a little behind because the summer is so short. And so I'm just super concerned about that. That's just my take. But I appreciate you with the committees though.
Mr. Blake, I understand your concern. As I shared with you, I'm a parent also. Yeah. And my children, I want the same children I want for my children. I just want to assure you that it'll be okay. I think past year given us, I say us, teachers, administrators, those of us, yourself and your, a very good idea of what we want to do as it pertains to remote learning and or face-to-face. So we're not far behind your anxiety may have anticipated. I want to assure you, we're going to be okay. We'll be okay. We're going to, all right? So I think we're going to be okay, Mr. Blake, and I understand being a dad, I understand. So I just want to assure you that I will not do anything for the Winslow Township that I would not for my own children. I just want to the board and community tonight that we are going to be okay. And I think that our expertise on those committee gives us a little more attitude than starting from scratch, starting all, because we already have a foundation in place. We've already collected a lot of data. Right now, we have an idea what didn't work, how we can address those issues. But I want to assure the board, the community, based on timelines, we're going to, at this point, the governor gives us something at least with all of July and at least half of August to do a lot of work, the number of days, how many times we meet. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. Confident we're going to be okay.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Poteet. Board members?
Mrs. Pitts, can I ask a question?
Yes, Mr. Shaw.
Okay. Dr. Poteet, just a clarification for people that want to sign up. Where and how would you like them to sign up? So that way they could, because you're talking about as soon as tomorrow. So that way they could start.
That was, Mr. was just a response to a question that was raised. I don't have that in place. And again, I'm not going to just hurt something together. Let me sit with my team, my technology people, and have some place. We'll get the word out. I'll even call the community to know where how they can sign, basically with something online, or those who do not have access, we'll give them a number. So give me put it together, but we'll have some place by next week.
Okay, is that, are you clear on that, Mr. Shaw? So that if indeed, because
I just wanted to make sure the community was able to understand.
Okay. All right. So yeah, who's that? Who was that?
Ms. Martin.
Oh, yes, Ms. Martin.
Dr. Poteet, I appreciate the fact that you have taken the time to attempt to put together these committees. I think that it is an awesome idea to do it in the fashion that you did, because we will all be able to have some input, and that is at every level, so that no one is excluded. I know and believe that this will work.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lane. Any other comments before we agree as a board to accept Dr. Poteet's recommendation and what I'm calling really an action plan to go forward? Let me ask you this: is there any board member who would not agree or would not buy into the recommendation of Dr. Poteet, or would have a problem or questions?
Oh no, this is. I just wanted to put this in the atmosphere too. It's the committees that are already put forth though, but I am looking for some subcommittees because I do feel like it is going to be a lot of work in that short amount of time, because there are a lot of things that I'm just thinking off the top of my head that the district could possibly do or not do. So I definitely recommend all those committees, but I'm also looking for some subcommittees, not a lot, but some spinoff committees where people can do some more additional work, because like I said, it is going to be a lot of work.
So here's what I have to say, Mr. Blake. I do understand what you're saying, but I would say let's proceed in a calm, cautionary fashion. Let's not develop something and explode it greater than it could be. The committees that are going to grow out of our standing committees would, by nature, if they're working committees, they by nature very well may break down into a subcommittee. I would not be in favor of stepping out on that first level, establishing a subcommittee. That is stepping out into the blind. Let's let our committees, once they get up and running and established, let's see exactly what kind of subcommittees, and there very well may be a few subcommittees that may come out of them just by a natural extension of the duties that committee has been charged with.
Oh no, I definitely agree. Just wanted to put that in the atmosphere. I'm not saying let's establish subcommittees now. I'm just saying if the subcommittees need to come out, like I want to see those subcommittees.
You will, Mr. Blake. You're on the marketing committee. You will.
Ms. Pitts. Ms. Pitts, this is Ms. McClendon. So, I mean, I guess it's also geared towards Mr. Blake. I hear what Mr. Blake is saying, and that was kind of along the lines of what I was addressing as well. But then Dr. Poteet broke it down and mentioned more about pulling people from the transportation, which that's information that, I needed to hear to understand how he was going to utilize the gifts that people have in those different areas. But Mr. Blake, when you say subcommittees, like, can you go a little further and explain what exactly do you mean? Because I know within your district, like I looked and I see that, I'm sure that each different district is doing things differently. In which, one thing that we learned is that one scenario doesn't work or won't fit for each district. But I would like to know, when you say subcommittees, what further information are you leading to that? And is there something, like, is there a reason why you're saying the amount of work and the subcommittees should be looked at to be formulated as well?
Great question, Ms. Clinton. For those who don't know, I'm on a lead committee in the district that I work. And so in the district that I work in, we have about 10 committees that have been fully functioning for a good month or so now. One of the committees that I'm on the remote learning committee, where we are setting norms, we're setting criteria with parents and with students about the expectations of remote learning. There's an at-risk committee. We are looking at those students who are most neediest population, our special needs students, our ELL students, and even our students who are very difficult to manage. Putting policies in place, those kinds of things. We have an operations committee. We have like I said, we have 10. It's a lot of committee, and it is of work. So
Mr. Blake, if I could just interrupt, let me ask you this. What is the enrollment of your district?
we have the district that I work in, we have
No, what is it? What is the enrollment in your district?
7,000 students.
7,000. That's almost twice as many as we have in our district. My point is this: is that each district has its own personalities and has its own situations that it must address in its own manner. What may work for your district of 10 or 12 committees may not really be necessary for our district, but that does not mean that each district is not addressing the education delivery of services to its students. That's just the point that I want to be clear on.
Agreed. And I'm definitely fully aware that each school district is unique. And, but I was just, Ms. McClinton had asked a question about the different committees that I, have been a part of in the district that I work. So it wasn't a slight on Winslow by no means. And the district I work is not, is working towards, but that was the question. Definitely no shade on Winslow's end by no means. But she just asked the question. And I was just kind of clarifying some of the committees that I personally worked on in the district that I worked in.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Blake. Any other comments, questions, board members?
Yes, this is Lavanya Mitchell.
Yes, Madam President.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
If I might, I think the number of people on each committee is important. So I think if we find people who are skilled in the specific committees that they're going to be working on, you won't need as many people to do the job. And I think that'll keep the focus of the committee, as well as, not having all of the outside questions and clarifications on what we're trying to do next and what needs to be done. So if we find people who are skilled to the committees that they're on, whether it be parents or teachers, whoever, that will help us to keep the numbers down, and our committees can work like a well-oiled machine, as long as we have those people, the correct people in place.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. Any other comments, board members?
Yes,
Ms. Dredden?
Madam President. I'm wholehearted in agreement with Dr. Boutique and what he wants to do with the committees. But I think that we're talking about what we got to do with the subs committees and different things like that. But first, we got to start. We got to start with our committees. Let Dr. Boutique, Dr. Carcamo, and the staff get it together first. And then as we go, we'll take step by step, because you can't just jump wholeheartedly into it just all at once. You got to take step by step. And as you take, because you don't want to fail, you want to make sure you're on the right page. So I agree with the committees, but with the subcommittees, let's see how we go. And if it goes that way and we break into subcommittees, then that's okay. But right now, just let them get in the committees and things like that together first. And then we can put more input into what's going on with all the different committees that's working for get the children back in school, or however we'll have to prepare.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Dredden. Any other comments, board members?
Yes, one more thing. I agree with what you said, Ms. Dredden. As we move along, if subcommittees are needed, then they can be implemented. However, I know that each of us receive stuff that's going around with other districts, just in general, of districts who are already in this planning stages. And a lot of the material that has come across that I've read is that it has been very frustrating. It's been overwhelming. What we don't want to do is put so much at one time and think that, okay, this is going to be an easy task. This is a big task that we're about to take on. There's a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of out of the box thinking, for barriers that we're going to have to face. And our community, our students, our parents are relying on us as a district and as a board to make sure whatever plan that we put in place is going to be effective come September. So I think what Mr. Blake was saying is that the reason why, and I'm not saying we need 10 or 12 committees, but the frustration, because they're already in the works of doing the work now, so they see the amount of work and strategy and everything else that goes into play. So as long as we're thinking already ahead of the game, saying, okay, we will probably have to implement some subcommittees to handle this portion with those key leads, because those people who are skilled in those areas are going to be our go-to people because they have the knowledge already. But that just takes the overload off of the main core of the team. That's what I think Mr. Blake was trying to say. So I agree. We're all talking the same language. It's just being able to put it together and move forward. But we don't want to be in a place where September comes and we're still trying to figure things out.
Well, Ms. McClendon, let me be the first to assure you that this district will not be come September in a place where we will be figuring things out. We have a history
Absolutely
of
not.
getting
You're
things
right.
done.
You're right.
Please
Absolutely
have some
not.
confidence, in your community, in your board, in your administrators, because the final statement that I would make on this to all board members, administrator, listen, everyone, we are all in this together.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay?
That's
So
good.
therefore, just the last word of clarification, Dr. Boteed, I do think, I like the idea of once you find out for sure, perhaps by tomorrow, with regards to how we're going to set up this sign up, that you will send out a robocall, because I'm sure that after tonight, perhaps some people may be saying, oh gee, how do I sign up? But I think, Dr. Boteed, I like the idea of you putting out a robocall.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Mrs. Pitts, I just have two additional comments in regard to my recommendation.
Okay.
One, yes, the discussion today proves, and it proves why we should not move forward without direction. Because with a whole lot of things are being said, and we have no idea what the outcomes are going to be anyway. So we wait until we have some. The second, I would like to say, "O ye of little faith." Oh man, I'm listening. And I'm thinking, my goodness, districts all do things different according to their needs. I have more confidence in this. I think I have more confidence in my administrators. I have more confidence in my heard tonight. Truly believe. Plus, you're not talking about an administrator, even though this is uncharted waters. We're still talking about educating children.
Yes.
And
Yes.
experience that we have, and all the committees and the things we produce the years have been magnificent. And for me to think this is such a mammoth task, oh, it blows my mind, because I just have more confidence in not. And at that point, I'm going to say to Mrs. Pitt, for those who've been on the board over the years, we've never fallen on any task, regardless of whatever it may be. So I have more confidence in us, board, and as an administrative team, and this community as a whole. We want to get it, and I just want to assure you that we're going to be ready for the opening of school in September. All right?
All right. Thank you.
With my other comment that it has already been stated before, but I would like to thank Dr. Carl. I would like to thank Mrs. Wanguma, her staff, and the middle HSA. Thank Mr. Martin, his and high school HSA for a job well done for the up ceremony at the middle school and virtual / partial face-to-face graduation ceremony on for high school. Those individuals put on a job under the circumstances we had to work, and people talk what people are doing, what other school districts are doing. We did, we felt was in the best of our here in Winslow. This is just another example of us working together with the community and doing something that I felt was in the best of our children, and I think it's memorable. So that's a perfect example of what we're talking about as we move forward.
Okay.
At the go to our site today or tomorrow and see one of our administrators, Jack Mills. Mr. Mills received an award, 2 awards, as a matter of fact, from Holy Family University for identifying their core values in the area of vision and family. Jack Mills is, as you all know, has been one of those individuals who's always doing in the district, positive or always upbeat. He's a doctoral student at Holy Family University. He is 4.0 student for the past couple of years. And just things that John has been doing on that campus and through that campus in terms of those programs, they felt that he was the recipient, most rewarding of their 2 awards based on their core values. And I think John Mill, again, is an example of administrators in Winslow. And again, ambassador, just like all of our graduates and our staff, where they go, always ask, are there more you come? And Mills is just one of those examples. Last, I'd like to congratulate and comment on the fact that over the summer, we distributed over 56,000 grab and go from March to June 18th. I want to thank Mrs. Boyle, her staff. I want to thank Pauline of the food department, John Skill and transportation department, all of those individuals who worked throughout that entire, even over the break. And of course, we're preparing for our summer feeding program. But for those individuals who are out there every day under these conditions, delivering meals for those who couldn't come, I need to thank these individuals for supporting the community, representing the district in the possible way. So my hats off to food service department, transportation department, and of course our business services department under Boyle for fantastic job they've done during the school closure and provide meals to our.
Thank you, Dr. Poteet. Thank you very much. And so,
Concludes my information for this evening.
thank you, Dr. Poteet. It's always good to hear good news, and that kind of news, especially in this particular climate and era, is most certainly appreciated. And it makes us proud to know that we have such tremendous individuals on staff here at our district. So board members, if there are no other issues to be covered, at this time, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn, to approve the adjournment of this meeting.
Motion to adjourn meeting.
Second, Blake.
By Ms. Martin, second by Ms. Blake. Mr. Blake, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, board members. This meeting is adjourned. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Good evening.
Everyone.
Good night.